So guys, what's going on? Guys, there's rumors online that Anthony Joshua was knocked out in sparring by a guy called Joey Dawejko. I don't know how to say his name, butchering his name, but listen, I think there's a possibility. We've heard rumors about Anthony Joshua before being knocked out by Daniel Dubois. We know that he definitely got hurt by David Price. So it's not a new if Anthony Joshua did get knocked out in sparring. Also, he had the bruising over his eyes, so people were speculating what had happened. He didn't look himself. There is a possibility Anthony Joshua could have got beaten up in sparring. He maybe got knocked out in sparring. There is a possibility. But we don't know. We don't know what's happened in Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz could have been knocked out in sparring. Andy Ruiz has had a long camp as well. So again, we just don't know what's been going on in either camp. But I don't think you can take away from the fact that Andy Ruiz just, fought a great fight. I think, sparring is something that these fighters obviously have to do, in order to get sharper. So when they get to the fight, they're in peak condition. And like I said, in sparring, you got to understand, when you're sparring hundreds of rounds, right? There's going to be times where you're not always going to be on it. It's just, we're all human. There's times where we're not going to be with it. And when you're fighting, right, if you're not with it, you're going to get beaten up. You're going to get beaten up. It's happened to the best, some of the greatest fighters ever. There's going to be days where, when you're going for a run, you're not quite on it. But when you're running, you're not in an actual physical fight. If you're not on it in an actual physical fight, someone's going to beat you up. And maybe Joshua wasn't with it that day. He wasn't feeling 100%. And the other guy was obviously pumped that he was facing Joshua, wanting to make a name for himself. He ended up beating Joshua up because Joshua wasn't with it. He wasn't 100%. That's a possibility that can happen in sparring. Many great fighters have been beat up in sparring. But I just think that I don't think that was a reason why he lost the fight. Personally, I don't think so. Obviously, here's the thing. When you lose a fight and you're the heavy favorite and you were expected to win, there's all kinds of stories that are going to come out. All kinds of stories. But at the end of the day, the fact is that, he lost the fight. And that's what it was. That's just what it was, unfortunately. I just think he froze once he got hit, and he didn't know what to do. He was confused. He didn't know how to respond to getting hurt from Andy Ruiz. I don't think if he got knocked out in sparring had anything to do with him losing the fight. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yes, he could have had a bad training. He could have had some hard sparring sessions where he was hurt and knocked out, but it didn't really mean anything in the fight, because if Anthony Joshua knocks Andy Ruiz spark out in that third round, would we have been talking that he didn't look himself? Yeah, there was a few strange things that happened, and I'll make separate videos about that, but I don't think you can take away from Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz was the better man on the night, and he just, in my opinion, outfought Joshua on that night. It can happen. Joshua's not indestructible. Like, he can be beat. He's human. He's got 2 hands, 2 legs. And we definitely saw on that night that he's human. So I just think that's what it was. Unfortunately for Joshua, he just wasn't able to recover from that left hook. And Andy Ruiz was on it that night. See, the thing is, it's one thing getting knocked out in sparring, because when you get knocked out in sparring, the world doesn't see that. Like, there'll be rumors flying around, oh, he's been knocked out in sparring. When you get knocked out in a fight, the whole world's watching you. He was being watched by millions of people. So if there's any place you want to make a mistake and then want to get knocked out, it is sparring. It's not in front of millions of people and people buying to watch pay-per-view, and you making your American debut. You don't want to be getting knocked out then. And that's unfortunately what's happened with Joshua. So now, in my opinion, I don't think the sparring had anything to do with the fight, because like I said, there's probably many people that got knocked out in sparring and then in their actual fight did the business. Because when you're actually fighting, you're more pumped, you're more motivated. Sometimes when you're sparring hundreds of rounds, it's difficult because you're doing it all the time and you can be off on it. But when you're fighting, you know that this is fight night. You're going to be motivated. You're going to be up for it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think, to be honest, I just think people are taking away from Andy Ruiz, but that's just my opinion, guys. I don't think him being knocked out in sparring would have anything to do with him losing the fight. But that's my take on it. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about Anthony Joshua, rumor mill that he'd been knocked out in sparring by this guy called Joey. Leave your thoughts, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.